Hello YouTube, welcome to a brand new series that I am currently doing, which is a Formula 1 driver career mode.
Before competing at the top level, many drivers will race in Formula 2. From this screen, you can choose from multiple Formula 2 experiences. The first offers a selection of short scenarios. The short season consists of a shortened Formula 2 calendar with one race per weekend. The full season contains every round, with a feature and sprint race in each. And finally, you have the option to jump direct.
Now, as you can see, I've just jumped straight into a Formula 1 season, none of that F2 business. I'm a straight up champion. But I was thinking to do with a low-end team, so it was either Alfa Romeo or Haas or Williams. In the end, I chose Haas, and the teammate I decided to go with it was Magnussen. I don't really mind these two, but Magnussen to me, I'd say, is the faster driver, so I took Magnussen as my teammate. Of course, no point doing a full season since this season wasn't a full season, so we'll do the 16 races. And at this point in time, I was just trying to figure out what tracks I was the fastest at. And then there's some tracks where I'm alright, depending on the luck that I can get from that track and whatever happens, safety car wise, and any incidents, any retirements. But in the end, I decided to go with all these tracks for no reason whatsoever. I just think that I'm fast at, but I also think the AI are quick at some of them as well, especially like Australia, Bahrain, Baku, for instance. They seem to be really strong there. For me, it's difficult. Canada, I'm really strong at Canada, but let's see what this season can unfold for us. But yeah. Now, as you can see, we are doing a 25% race and 100 difficulty on the AI. I'm on controller. I'm not the greatest, I'll tell you that now. But for me, 100 to 95 is the good margin for me on my skill level. We're doing full qualifying, full damage. Flashbacks is on only for qualifying laps and practice laps. I don't use them in the race. You'll see why later on in the video. But yeah, let's get into this brand new season with Haas F1 team. As you can see, they haven't got the greatest facility, but that's why we're here. We're here to build Haas back up. They have a Ferrari engine which is decent, but it's not the best this season. Their aero and chassis is really dreadful. They've got nothing compared to the other cars. The only teams that they're quicker than is the Williams and the Alfa Romeos. But yeah, again, they are close with us on track. On paper, we might be ahead of them, but on track, they can beat us. So hopefully, me and Magnussen can bring this team through to the midfield where I think they should belong, and maybe, possibly challenging for podiums. Now you could see the Haas car. I think it's the best it's ever looked. Yes, in 2017 they had that grey and white combination through midway to the season, but I really like this Haas livery this season. But as you can see, I don't know what upgrades to go for in the future. The chassis and the aerodynamics, they're definitely my main priority at the moment. That being, it's their weakest point on the car. The engine, I've got nothing to worry about as soon as I see myself dropping down. But there, I'm kind of thinking, do I want to, do I not? And as you can see, I get a failure on one of the aerodynamic components, which for Australia, for Albert Park, it's not the greatest. I could have used that upgrade to my advantage, but looks like we're going to have to do with it for not one, but 2 races, as we're going to miss it for the Bahrain GP. But now, it's all about getting the job done on Sunday. I don't expect myself to be doing any miracles in qualifying, especially since anything can happen in qualifying if there's any hold-ups or anything like that. So let's hope that we can get put to the right end in qualifying and make some right progress into the race.
Great, you're done with the technician's briefing. Look, I know we've got a lot to get through in FP1, but Will Buxton's been pushing for a quick interview before you head out on track. Don't worry too much, he's a good lad. He's just over there. These media appearances are important for a few reasons. They'll help build your profile and your brand. Plus, your team will get a real boost to their motivation if they hear you praising them. Will, as promised, sorry to keep you waiting.
Mate, not a problem at all, not a problem.
Look, we've got to be out on track in about 5 minutes for FP1, so we can only spare you a couple of minutes max. Is that going to be enough time?
More than enough, we're already set up. Cool, let's go. We're used to seeing rookies in Formula One every year. But this season, there's a youngster that's arrived with perhaps a little more interest in them than usual. And that's because while they've been successful at every level of their career from karts all the way through to Formula 2, they've somehow managed to stay pretty much under the radar. They don't have that luxury anymore though. They're in Formula 1. Millions of people around the world watching their every move, both on and off the racetrack. So let's take some time to get to know them a little bit better.
So tell us a little about yourself. What's the thing you're most excited about being here in Formula 1?
To be honest, mate, being in F1 is an achievement in itself. I just need to stamp my authority into the sport and make my place.
After your successful junior career, you must have had a lot of interest.
I mean,
To sign for your current
I can't really comment on my junior career, not knowing what I've been through. If I did a full F2 season, then I can comment on it.
What would you say is going to be the biggest challenge?
Biggest challenge this season would be, of course, not only fighting other teams, but also fighting ourselves, making ourselves push for more. Obviously, that's going to be the main important thing.
Very keen to get on. Best of luck out there.
Right, we're back into the little paddock with all the crew, just finishing off some things, but there's something that I always do. I don't do practice sessions. I don't have time for the practice programs. I think I'm just one of them people that I like to qualify and get into the race. I don't like to do practice sessions, so I skip over them. At the moment, I'm just currently seeing where other teams are. Yes, they may be ahead of us on paper, but on the track, like I said, anything can happen. We've seen that in real life multiple times. So hopefully we can do something good in qualifying. Now, since I am controller, I don't do any setups to the car like other people do. I want this to be as I won't say hard as possible, a bit challenging for myself. Yes, I'm on controller. That is a challenge in itself. But hooking a lap up on a controller is satisfying. So as you can see, we're about to start this lap right now, and our out lap wasn't the greatest, as when we were backing up, we backed up into our teammate Kevin Magnussen. So at the moment, I'm just trying to go as quick as I can, hopefully try and pull away from me and go faster. But as you can see, as I had a little glimpse look back, I clipped the grass, which kind of threw me off and lost me some speed. But currently carrying it through the corners very well. And as I go through this right-hander, I take some lot of understeer and hit the grass again. And at this point, I'm thinking, should I just give the lap up? One, I've messed my own lap up, and two, I'm ruining Magnussen's at the same time, and it's not really good for the team. So as you can see here, I'll move to the left and let him get out of the carry on with his lap, and I'll go for the lap once again, and hopefully make it a lot better than what that lap currently was. Obviously, yeah, I could have still maybe got one place, but it wouldn't have been much. So I was going through this final corner, get onto a straight open DRS, go cross the start finish line, and as you can see there, I am P15. That is not my actual position, but as we can go down this second straight, open DRS, and hopefully right here we can gain some time. As you can see, we have gone green in the first sector, or we are currently going green. And as we go through the right-hander, we get it perfect, clip the apex a little bit. Sometimes it can throw the card off, but luckily it didn't. Luckily, all smooth so far. First sector is at green. And at this moment in time, I'm just trying to focus and concentrate on my braking zones. Yes, I do have the racing line on for the braking zones. I'm not really that good on where to brake and that, even though I've been playing Formula 1 for a long time now. I still don't know where to brake, but it's less thing to worry about. I can just concentrate on the racing. Nice smooth corner early on to the power. A lot of understeer there. I didn't go tight to the corner. Clip the apex, clip the grass at the same time, which I definitely didn't want to do. A lot of understeer again. Hit the wall and front wing damage. That would have cost us a lot of time. Now here, like I said earlier, I allow myself 1 to 2 flashbacks during practice and qualifying laps. So as you can see, I use a flashback, but I don't use any in the race, just to make it a bit that more exciting. So if I were to get taken out or span out, I'd have to work through it again. I can't just flash back and just act like nothing happened. But as you can see there, we go up to P18. I know we can go quicker than that. I know there's a lot of time to be gained through the corners. But the way the car is, very understeery, very heavy. To me, there's a lot of work to be done on this car, especially if teams are also upgrading their cars. But as you can see, P18 and Kevin Magnussen down in 20th, 3.3 seconds off. It's not the greatest. Like I said earlier, we may be ahead of Williams and Alfa Romeo on paper, but on track, anything can happen. But hopefully in the future races, we can be dominant in that bottom end and hopefully fight towards the midfield. But at this time, I'm kind of just waiting for cars to go out so I can hopefully get a gap. But as you can see, I just go for a flying lap. It's just the easiest option, especially with the time that I'm going to have left if I do an out lap. And with the out lap as well, I won't have to bother about warming my tyres up or looking out for traffic. So I've come around the final corner, beautiful corner, get DRS open and down straight. And let's see if we can hook this lap up perfect. As you saw, we did have to use a flashback in the chicane, but luckily we improved in our time. But as you can see, Kevin Magnussen gets into Q2 as we are down in P18. What a surprise. Pierre Gasly is knocked out in the AlphaTauri. That is a huge shocker. Antonio Giovinazzi up to 13th.
Tough luck there.
What a surprise for Kevin Magnussen being into Q2. What a huge confidence boost for the team going into this season, into this race, knowing that we have pace in this car. But luckily he's finding this pace where I'm not able to. This is why I chose Kevin Magnussen as my teammate, because he can find that pace. Grosjean, yes, he does have pace, but he's not my type of driver. So let's go into this race and see what we can do.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to Melbourne for the opening race of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to the Australian Grand Prix. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Here we are then, Formula One in 2020. The fight for the World Championship all starts here today. Mercedes on the hunt for a 7th consecutive title. They'll have Ferrari and Red Bull to contend with along the way. Williams struggled to find their feet last year. They'll be hoping for a stronger start this time around. And what I wonder of the Renault-powered cars. Will they be able to step forward, maybe even onto the podium on a regular basis? Plenty to discuss then with Anthony Davidson. He's out of hibernation too, and alongside me in the commentary box once again.
It's good to be back, Crofty. Let's hope for some good racing today. We can't know at this point how competitive these teams are relative to each other, but hopefully nobody is able to run and hide. We want to see these drivers pushing to the limit all the way to the checkered flag.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Albon, Lance Stroll and Ricciardo, Vettel, Perez, Sainz and Lando Norris, Ocon, Kvyat, Antonio Giovinazzi and Magnussen, Gasly, Russell, Bailey and Kimi Raikkonen, Latifi and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
As you saw, Charles Leclerc has a penalty. He must have changed the component in the engine, maybe possibly the engine, don't know why. Maybe they're just getting that penalty out of the way, which would make sense. But as you can see, it is clearly going to be a one-stop, soft to mediums, since it is a 25% race, which would be, if I'm correct, a 14-lap race. 15-lap, correction, but 5 lights, ready, steady, go! Get that fucking ERS up, get that rich mixture up. We made 1 position, made possibly 2, no, brake early, not to avoid any collisions. Charles Leclerc dives it up the inside, just keep onto the position, and now we're a bit scruffy, having to push. Charles Leclerc's looking around the outside, brakes really early, we brake really late, get George Russell. Pierre Gasly puts us out onto the grass and we settle P16. No, George Russell's coming back, he fights, he takes P16, and can we get him on this corner? Yes we can, we have kept P16. Now we're pushing for that P15. Giovinazzi and Magnussen are ahead of us. They seem to have gained or kept their positions, especially for Magnussen. At this rate, he could possibly get a top 10. As we brake, we could have sent it down the inside of Gasly, but we didn't. We wanted to try and get a better exit, but as it turned out, it didn't. But we're getting a run in now. Get ERS done. Get down the inside, and he blocks us off, and we hit the ball hard. We got no warning for that whatsoever, as they are kind to us. They saw our racing collision, or as you know, the stewards they're a bit more lenient on the first lap. But as you can see, we go round this right-hander, and this second right-hander, there's a train starting to form, and I should have dived it down the inside here, but I just didn't. I don't know why. I was possibly trying to just get a nice little slipstream down the straight, but as we go around the corner, Rich Mixture and ARS, we gain on Gasly, we go to the right-hand side, we're overtaking him, and we get P14, nice and easy. We brake, he's diving it back out the outside, and we make sure he doesn't get there, and we have P14 secured. He's dropped back now to Charles Leclerc. Maybe Charles Leclerc can overtake him. But now we go down into this braking zone, we can see Giovinazzi and Magnussen having a little scrap. But as you see from the start on Charles Leclerc's, he dives it up the inside, good reactions, dives it up the inside of us. But luckily we just managed to get that traction down and beat him. As you can see, we're a bit scruffy. This is where he gets his run on us, goes round the outside, and for some reason he brakes really early whilst we dive it down the inside of Russell and Gasly. And you see Russell dives it back down the inside of us, and then we get good traction, dive it back up the inside on the right-hander, and that's that job done. And then when we go down into the corner, you can see he taps George Russell's rear tyre with his front wing, so he could possibly have front wing damage. I didn't see any end plates come off, but now side by side going down to this corner, and as you can see, Latifi and Raikkonen are in the background waiting to pounce if any mistakes have happened. And as you can see, they're still side by side going down this little straight. As you can see, Raikkonen and Latifi, they're looking to pounce, they're eager to make a move. And did Latifi? No, Latifi did not get Raikkonen, he had a look. But now at this point we're just pushing, trying to catch up to Giovinazzi and Magnussen since they're that far up the road. But as you can see, I'm making a couple of mistakes here and there, nothing major, just dipping it onto the grass, losing time. But using ARS and Rich Mixture, we get close to Giovinazzi, but not close enough to make a charge. He seems to be pushing as well, since I can't really game on him in the straights. But luckily he's much quicker than I am, so it's not wearing my tyres out as I would if I was up right behind him. But as you can see, I go late on the brakes, make it wide. Gasly goes back up the inside of us. We dive it back up the inside. And easy job done. And Gasly and Leclerc, they're side by side, are they? We won't know. Leclerc got Gasly, so he did. But as you can see here, Giovinazzi and Magnussen are pulling away from us. So at this point, I face it that I'm not going to gain any more time anywhere. As you can see, Leclerc is right up our gearbox. I was hoping he would have dived it up the inside of here and he had DRS, but he didn't for some reason. He was tormenting me, if you could say that. But I was hoping he wanted to get this done early so I could have possibly got him back down on the straights, but he didn't. So he was just waiting for the main straight. He was smart playing this. But I thought, Leclerc's in a Ferrari, he's much quicker than us, so why fight it? So I'll let him pass, and hopefully he can drag me along to Giovinazzi and pull me away from Gasly. Right here he's got DRS, but I've also using ERS, not DRS, with Rich Mixture, but we managed to stay behind him, don't dive or anything. But now at the moment it's trying to save our tyres and keep an eye on where Gasly is. But as you can see, Leclerc is pulling away, but we're not going with him. We're staying in that 1 second margin to keep us in that DRS. So luckily, as we go down into this braking zone, we gain on Leclerc, but not enough to possibly get a good traction out of the corner and gain a lot of time. But he is catching Giovinazzi, and Magnussen has seemed to have gained some pace. But as you can see here, Gasly's getting really close to us. He goes for the move on the outside. We go to the inside to defend. We defend the corner. He might get the switch back, but he doesn't. We have DRS from Leclerc, but it's a bit scruffy on the outside. We go really defensive. He dives it down the outside. We brake really late, and we keep our position for now and away. But look, Leclerc is looking at Giovinazzi, looking to get past. He's losing a lot of time behind him. And as you can see, he's right up his gearbox, and I'm surprised that he's didn't get it the last time with both the DRS zones. But as you can see here on the arrows, Gasly is close, but is he close enough to make a move? Yes, he's going down the inside, and I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at my monitor whatever thing you call it. My tyres are one. But as you can see here, he has DRS. We have ERS enabled. We go look down the inside. He leaves the space. We dive bomb it. And we have the corner. And we have the position. P11. People are making pit stops. I don't know who. I think it's both the Renaults and McLarens. And the Red Bulls. But on this lap 7, we come in. Switch onto the mediums for a go for a nice stint. But throughout this race, I was wondering why I was understeering so much and losing a lot of time. Well, as I come into pit, you can notice they're changing my front wing. And you can look on the front wing, there doesn't seem to be any damage whatsoever. So I don't understand why they're changing the front wing. Well, that's lost us effectively 2 positions. One to Russell and one to Gasly, who we were fighting throughout the race. But at this moment in time, it's just flat out pushing. We need to gain the positions that we lost, and this has set us back. We could have been fighting for possibly P12, P13, but with this front wing change out of nowhere, we have a lot of work to do. So now we're just pushing Magnussen pits for his mediums. Hopefully he's in a good position as I am. Hopefully he ain't got front wing damage, because he can score some pretty, I'd probably say a point. I won't say a lot of points, but a point. But as you can see, we get Latifi as he comes out the pit lane, so that's a bonus. So it is effectively P15 with everyone made their pit stops. Now, as you can see, Russell is in our picture. We can see him. We are gaining on him. We go green in sector 1, and not gonna lie, this kind of did pee me off, because I wanted to be up there fighting with Gasly, knowing that I could have kept him behind, but I don't know where this front wing damage came from. If I got damage, it would have popped up, but it didn't, so I'm a bit bamboozled. But as you can see here, coming around the final corner, we are much closer to Russell than we have been since we pitted. Checking the tyres as they're currently in good condition, and then this happens very unexpectedly. Yes, safety car. Esteban Ocon has retired from this race with a mechanical problem. Now, this is going to throw a spanner in the works with only 4 laps remaining of this Australian Grand Prix, first race of the season. So now it's all about getting this restart perfect. We pretty much have 2 laps to try and gain 2 positions that we lost. As you can see, Gasly and Russell are ahead of us, and Giovinazzi, and I think that could be Magnussen up there. It is, I think. So Leclerc's got Magnussen and Giovinazzi. Happy for him, because he was struggling. But effectively, Magnussen is in P10, so he could score he could score as a point in this season opener. But as you can see, we're right beside Russell, because I want to get past him as soon as possible, as he has that Mercedes engine, which is 20 times faster and better than the Ferrari this season. So I want to try and get him out of the way as soon as possible, so I can hunt down Gasly, who effectively will be slowed down by Giovinazzi and Magnussen, as they are in slower cars. But as you come down to this straight, I'm using ERS and rich mixture, and I'm looking, he leaves the inside open. I dive it down the inside and I brake really late. I managed to make the apex and corner, and Kvyat managed to sweep through and take Russell as well. So I feel like that's a bit dirty on my side, but he did leave the door open, so I just invited myself in. But as you can see, like I said, Gasly is being held up by Giovinazzi and Magnussen. And now onto this straight, I don't realise that I have ran out of ERS, so I'm pushing like it's a qualifying lap to gain places, tenths, anything that I can do to get quicker. I need to get to Gasly, but as you can see, I'm going as fast as I can, making sure I hit every corner perfect, braking point, traction, make sure it's perfect, using ARS and rich mixture. But as you go through this chicane, I gain a lot of momentum using ARS and rich mixture, gaining and gaining. I should have dived it down the inside here, but I didn't. I need to learn from the past. I should have dived it down the inside, take risks. And we go round this corner, hit the apex very well, and I dive it down the inside, and he closes the door, and I clip him. No, I didn't want that to happen. And Raikkonen, that's Kvyat. What am I on about? He comes through. DRS, no, ERS, I've ran out of it. Rich mixture, can I get him on the line? No. That's not the way I wanted to end that race. P14 though, strong debut in F1. And I'm pretty sure Magnussen did score a Formula 1 World Championship point for Haas. This race could have been so much better. Could have been so much better. But P14, nothing to be mad about. We could have done a lot better, but it is what it is. So yeah, maybe in the next race, maybe not take risks that much. And Alex Albon gets onto the podium for the first time this season. I'm only saying that because it might be his only time this season.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.
And as you can see, Kevin Magnussen did score a Formula 1 official point for us. And as you can see, Norris and Ricciardo made a pit stop under the safety car. It's a bit strange, knowing why they do that with only 2 laps to go, but I don't understand. But here's the race highlights. Hope you enjoyed as much as I did, because it was an exciting race from my side. So yeah, enjoy.
Great workout there today. Let's have your thoughts.
You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yes. I could have gained more, to be honest, but I'm happy with how it went.
Breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
No secret, just I'm a good driver, really, and I have a decent team behind my
Why do you
back.
think you weren't as quick as your teammate today?
No, Magnussen was 20 times quicker than me. He knows how
Scrape the
to
walls
run
off
this
what
car.
things we...
I did scrape a few walls, but I'm not going to talk about that.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So, for the first race over and done with, to be fair, I'd say it's beaten my expectations, but as you can see, we're making that extra purchase on the aerodynamics, which we need to upgrade. Chassis and aerodynamics are the priority at the moment. But yeah, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, Happy New Year.